Right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking some absolutely mind-bending psychological concepts from Carl Jung. We're going to focus on what he called the internal crack and map out that profound and honestly pretty terrifying transition from the social mask you wear every single day to your actual true self. So if you've been feeling, deeply unsettled lately, stick around because this is definitely for you. I want you to ask yourself a really heavy question. Have you reached that silent, totally unbearable moment where you feel this invisible rupture between who you actually are and who you've just been pretending to be? Are you living or are you just existing? It's a tough one, I know, but that is exactly where our journey starts today. Section 1. The internal crack. Okay, so picture this precise moment. Your conscious mind has completely run out of answers, and something deep down inside you just starts to scream. Look at how our modern society views the symptoms of this crack. Unexplained despair, chronic fatigue, constantly feeling out of place, or just this intense existential angst. Now, society loves to diagnose these things as an illness, right? Like it's a defect you need to medicate away or fix with a quick weekend getaway. But looking at Jung's work, this is actually the symbolic language of your psyche. It's literally your inner self waving a massive red flag, saying the current structure of your life has reached its absolute limit. The walls are crumbling. And that brings us to a really radical reframing. This deep, persistent discomfort you might be feeling, it isn't a sign of weakness or failure. You are not broken. It's actually a profound psychological awakening. It's your own mind violently pushing you to be born again, urging you to stop living a life that just isn't yours. Which takes us to section 2, the trap of normality. The trap of a normal life is so perfectly contrasted here. The reality is, most people are operating day to day in this false world, basically surviving as functional zombies. We get completely anesthetized by the comfort of our routines. Look at the functional zombie side of things. Sure, you get social approval, you get a stable salary, but the price is extraordinarily high. You're trading your absolute truth for emotional anesthesia. The system basically rewards your obedience with distractions, streaming services, food delivery, social media likes, you name it. But then, compare that to the authentic life. This is characterized by an active inner voice, spontaneity, absolute freedom, and actual meaning and presence. It's night and day. As Carl Jung warned, the greatest threat to the individual soul in modernity isn't madness or misery. It's massification. It's the unconscious adaptation to the inauthentic. Basically, it's becoming a statistical cog in a giant machine that values conformity way, way over authenticity. The true catastrophe here is living a life that isn't yours, and not even realizing it's happening. Moving right along to section 3, the call to individuation. So, what is Jung's actual psychological diagnosis of what happens when your soul just refuses to keep pretending? Well, first, we have to understand the persona. From a really early age, we are taught to seek stability, follow the rules, fit in. We build these social masks to please others, to survive, to meet societal expectations. But eventually, this shell that once protected you, it becomes a highly polished prison. It demands the total abandonment of your true self. And that leads us to individuation. This is the psychic process where you finally shed that persona. You integrate everything you've kept hidden in the basement, your repressed emotions, your denied desires, your shadow. And it's absolutely crucial to understand that this integration isn't some sort of trendy spiritual luxury. It is an existential urgency. You literally have to do this to stop living only on the surface of your consciousness. Jung bluntly stated that the unlived life is a disease from which one can die. False normality is really just a disguise for psychic death. We literally see people dying slowly, day by day, because they're trapped in a narrative written by someone else. They're just following duties, completely devoid of meaning. Section 4. Synchronicity and Symbols. Now we enter the phase where your unconscious mind actually starts raising its volume to guide you out of the crisis. Have you ever had a specific book, a random conversation, or maybe even an explainer, just like this one, appear at the exact moment you felt on the brink of collapse? Well, Jung called this synchronicity, when the outer reality mirrors your inner transformation. Now, to be clear, this isn't some magical woo-woo universe talk. The unconscious isn't just a storage bin for your trauma. It actually has a dynamic, living, symbolic intelligence. When you're genuinely ready to evolve, your psyche magnetizes exactly what it needs from the outside world. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your unconscious speaks through symbols because it knows your ego is terrified of change. So it insinuates, it suggests. And when you finally start to pay attention to these signs, the unconscious stops being this hidden enemy in the dark and actually becomes a subtle ally, guiding you forward. Finally, Section 5, Crossing the Fear. This right here is the critical threshold. It's the absolutely terrifying leap that separates the false life you've been living from your authentic one. Jung compared this moment to confronting the inner dragon. This archetype represents all your fears, your doubts, your deep resistances guarding the door to change. This dragon will scream that you're crazy, that you're unprepared, that you're gonna lose everything. Why? Because the dragon knows that if you take this leap, the ego's false sense of control dies. It fears that symbolic death way more than any actual pain. So, how do we actually take the leap? Step 1, you have to accept radical responsibility. Listen, no savior is coming to rescue you. No guru, no self-help book, no perfect moment. The system actually profits from your passivity. You have to take that radical responsibility, face your inner dragon of fear head on, abandon the false narrative, and step willingly into the unknown. You don't even need to be entirely ready. You just need to be tired enough of pretending. There is an invisible line that separates the life you're currently living from the life you actually came here to live. And that line? It's made entirely of fear. What exists on the other side of it? As we've explored in this explainer, that fear isn't a warning to turn back. It's a massive signpost telling you that you are exactly where you need to be. So I'll leave you with this one thought. Are you going to continue dragging yourself through a life that literally makes you sick, or are you finally going to cross through the fear